Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make some really cool printmaking using styrofoam. To make some cool prints, here's one I just did just before. And it's a really fun activity. You can get really creative with your designs. I really enjoy it and I'm going to show you how to do it. So for this you're going to need first of all some large white paper, maybe A2 or even A1. You're going to need some sheets of styrofoam, which you can buy from maybe an art store or like a craft store. You're going to need some paint. I've just used black today, but you can use any coloured paint. You're going to need maybe just a bit of cardboard that you can just roll some paint onto. You're going to need a roller. This is a soft foam roller, which you can buy from just like a craft shop. They're about $2. You're going to need a ruler, a pencil, a stencil knife, and you're going to need your imagination and be ready to get creative. So let's get started. Okay, now the first thing I need to do is I'm going to make my print a square. So, and I don't want my print to be too big, so I'm just going to make a small square out of here. So I'm going to, just using a ruler and a pencil, I'm just going to measure out a square that's say, I'm going to make mine 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. Okay, and then just marking that out, just making sure that it is 12 centimeters. Okay, once I've marked that out, just using a stencil knife now, I'm just going to cut that so I have a nice little, okay, and I now have a nice little square that is 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters. So here's my 12 centimeter square. Okay, now this is where the trick comes into it. What I'm going to do now is mark out some points around the outside. So if it's 12 centimeters, I'm going to mark maybe a halfway mark at 6, and maybe also a quarter, so I'll go 3, 6, 9, and then I'm going to mark out the same points around the other side. So I'm going to have 3, 6, 9. You can make different points, but you just have to make sure that whatever you mark on one side, we mark the same on the other, and it has to be kind of, I guess, symmetrical and balanced. And you'll see why when we start printing. So here we go, 3, 6, and 9. Now, this is where I can be really clever or creative, just coming up with sort of any design I really want here. So what I'm going to do is just come up with I'm just going to make up a pattern just for the demonstration. So I might make maybe a cross through here. Let's go through here. Now, by pressing down hard on my pencil, I can actually make like an indentation there like this. You'll see how that's quite a hard line, and I've actually made a dent into the styrofoam. So I might make another one through this side just to keep it sort of, I guess, symmetrical, a little bit balanced. There we go, and I'm pressing quite hard to get that firm line. And now what I can do here is I can start sort of matching up these other sides. You can just go straight through the middle. You can join them up in lots of different ways. I might go maybe this way, across the corner. And I'll do the same for all the corners. And there are just so many different designs and ways you can do this. I might use, maybe I now have these center bits. I could either come through the middle or I could come out the side. Maybe I'll join these ones up the same. Okay, so I've got an interesting sort of pattern here that's symmetrical all the way around. So I'm going to now, using that design, I'm going to now use some cardboard, and then using with my cardboard I'm going to use some paint. For this case I'm going to use black paint just because it'll stand out. Squeeze a bit on like that, I don't need too much. Then using a foam roller, I'm just going to roll out my paint. Okay, and then I'm going to now roll on my block, my styrofoam. Okay, and now over to my printing page, and I can now print this down, and I'm just going to press down. You can use like a hard roller for this, but I'm just going to press it. Print of my design. Now what I can keep doing now is just keep on I'm just going to keep on printing, and if I join them up, what will happen is that all my lines should meet up and it will become a repeating pattern. Okay, that's a fairly simple print, but let's go for something a little bit different, shall we? Okay, that last one was quite symmetrical. It all sort of joined up. So how about we go something different this time and make something that's a little bit more asymmetrical. So I'm still going to measure off those points, 3, 6, 9, or sort of halves and quarters, because I'm going to make sure now, although it's asymmetrical, I'm going to get everything to sort of join up anyhow. I'm even going to put in some curves and things. So here we go, just measure this. Okay, this time I'm going to go for a design that looks like this. I might do more like a let's go okay, let's try this. You can see here how I've got some white blotches. It means I probably just didn't put quite enough paint on it, but you kind of learn all this through a bit of trial and error as you go along. Okay, so I'm going to join these lines up, join them up, and we'll find that our pattern matches up. Okay, you can see here how now my line continues, and even this shape on the side continues as well. I'm going to keep going. I didn't quite line it up properly here, but it's pretty close. And there we have a cool repeating pattern. Now, something extra cool to do here is once you have a pattern, you can even take some old patterns, and as long as these all these points were measured out, they should all join up together. Let's find out. Okay, those last few have been quite symmetrical, so I'm going to try something a little bit more asymmetrical this time. But before I do, I'm going to start by just marking an arrow like this, just so I can tell which direction things are going. Now, on this side, I'm just going to mark out my points again. I'm using a slightly smaller one this time, so I'm just going to mark out, this is 9, so I'm going to go 3 and 6, and again I'm going to go 0, 3, 6, so just making sure that my points on each side are equal. And so I'm just going to come up with a bit of a random design here. That's this one just coming from different parts, and this can join up to any sort of point here. and it'll all match up, you'll see in a minute. So there's my first line like this. Now I'm going to join maybe this one up with this one over here, and I might join this one over here. This one can come around like this, that one, and then I'm just going to join these last ones up here and around like that. And you can see I've got all these sort of swirly patterns. Now, the thing about this design is that all these points will match up. If I turn them around, these points will match up in any direction. So I can make some interesting prints by turning this, sliding it, moving it in all different ways, and it should join up all the way around. So fingers crossed, let's give it a go. Okay, here's my first print. Okay, keeping my arrow up. This time, there's my arrow, I'm going to go this way. Okay, and my lines now join around. Okay, let's try another one. Okay, and now I have a pattern that has been changed and rotated around because all my different points can match up in different ways. Okay, let's just make one more just because it's fun.